Yes, good morning. Thank you very much. Cybersecurity management systems, or CSMS, that's what many experts in the automotive industry are discussing about at the moment. And today we want to give some insights on how to tackle this challenge. My name is Marc Schandera. I'm a project leader at ESCRYPT in Munich. I lead various projects in consulting and penetration testing, and internally I am the service architect for our solution called Proof, and Proof deals with everything related to cybersecurity management systems. I will later explain in detail what exactly that means. And yeah, I'm happy to have Dominik here with me today.
Yes, hello. Warm welcome from my side as well. My name is Dominik Wulf. I'm located in Bochum. I'm working for ETAS for more than 3 years now as a cybersecurity consultant, and I have a special focus on CSMS and organizational cybersecurity maturity.
Thanks, great to have you here. Before we start, I would like to give a quick introduction about ESCRYPT in ETAS. ESCRYPT is the cybersecurity brand within ETAS. We are focused very much on the automotive industry. We are located worldwide, basically in all regions where also the automotive industry is located, coming from the US to Europe and all the way down to Asia. There's several experts in cybersecurity working with us in various different topics. And if you look at our portfolio, you can see that our solutions are also very different. On the one side, we have our consulting and expert services that enable our customers to develop and maintain secure products within the automotive industry. That means we either help you by, for example, performing the TARA for you, helping you write your security concepts, or performing security testing for you. Or what we do at the moment a lot is we enable you by setting up your own processes, your own tools, methods that enable your organization to develop those products. In the center, you can see our software solutions. Quite famous is our Cycure HSM and Cycure Lib solution, or our IDPS family. In addition, we have several managed services. That means where our team is helping you to get answers to various questions within cybersecurity. For example, when it comes to VSOC or threat intelligence or incident response, we provide services for that. Today we speak about the topic that is shown on the very bottom, the Product Security Organization Framework, Proof. And within that framework, we want to specifically discuss the question about how to use and maintain templates and how to keep them updated with all the experience that we gain. So these are the topics for today. Before I hand over to Dominik, I will quickly introduce what Proof is. And later we have also the chance to answer your questions about all that. So let me tell you a little bit about Proof. The motivation to develop Proof started with the UNR and the ISO 21434. As many of you might know, the OEMs are, it's mandatory for them to have a type approval according to the UNR 155 for cybersecurity management systems and dealing with the threats mentioned in the UNR 155. And the OEMs will then forward these requirements to their suppliers, usually in the form of the ISO 21434. If we look globally, there's much more than only those two standards. For example, in China, we have several new regulations and legislations coming up. Also in the US, we see different frameworks. And in order to to get hold of all those various standards, which at some part talk about similar requirements, but at some parts also have very unique requirements, we developed the method Proof. And Proof helps you not only to tackle all those standards and frameworks, but really to consider cybersecurity throughout all your disciplines. That means not only in development, but also in production and also in the maintenance in the field, and therefore throughout the whole life cycle. So what is Proof exactly? Proof maps several international norms and standards to one central framework. You can consider it as a questionnaire that structures the whole topic into one defined set of questions, or as we call them, controls. On the screen you see the standards that we have mapped at the moment in version 2.3. Currently we are also mapping the VDA automotive spice for cybersecurity, and we always keep and maintain our backlog to see what are the future frameworks coming, and in order to also include them. Of course, we also discuss with our customers which frameworks they see as important, and then include them as well. So how does Proof work? On the highest level, we have structured it into 5 large domains. And within those large domains, we have several subdomains. And in this model, we can find all the disciplines and consider the whole life cycle. Within a subdomain, you will then find several controls. I'm now showing an example. This is the control for cybersecurity policy, rules, and processes. That means the control that defines what kind of processes you should define within your organization on a very high level. You can see the requirement towards this control, and you can see what we call key activities. That means the step that your organization needs to fulfill in order to be compliant to this control. And on the very bottom, you see all the standards that speak about policies, rules, and processes. So we are mapping this control directly to the standards. And by answering this one control, we can give you a feedback on how mature you are compared to several international standards. As you also see in the example of the ISO 21434, the work products are directly mapped here. And this is one motivation for today's webinar, to see how we can tackle those work products. So to answer the question on how do we use Proof now in our daily life, we have developed a 8-step process model in order to enable customers to implement a cybersecurity management system and even a software update management system. In the preparation phase, after an initial setup, we usually perform a cybersecurity audit, or we call it gap analysis. This helps us to really understand the customer's processes, to document what are the best practice and good processes they already have, and where do they have gaps. And the result of this audit is basically a task list that shows exactly what you need to do in order to establish a CSMS. Then in the next phase, in the implementation phase, we, for example, help you to write your cybersecurity policy, to define development processes, to define processes for your production. We help you to establish your risk analysis method or your risk management process. We also help you to, for example, train your staff, create trainings, or we deliver our own trainings. We help you to learn about new tools. And the last part is we help you to set up the communication and interfaces to your either suppliers or to your customers. After all that is discussed and done, we of course enable your organization to work with all those new processes, tools, and methods. And we usually repeat our audit in order to understand how the maturity has increased compared to the initial audit. And yeah, in order for you to reach as a supplier, for example, a CSMS certification, or as an OEM to reach the type approval according to UNR 155. Currently, we are really busy and we have several projects that we are working on. We already have helped several customers to reach CSMS certification. And on the one side, of course, that's great for our customers, but it's also great for us because we are really gaining a lot of experience in this area. And of course, we want to use that experience to even help our customers better in the future. So the topic came up how we can use this experience and maintain it internally. So we created a lot of templates, and that's the topic for today. The question is, how do we maintain those templates, and how can we offer the experience that we gain to our customers? And that's the point where I would like to hand over to Dominik, who will give us insights about the template repository.
Thank you, Marc, for the introduction to proof. And as we heard, the initial step usually is that we perform a gap analysis in our CSMS projects. Before starting the CSMS project, usually we have gaps identified that need to be closed in some way to reach a compliant CSMS within the organization. And we had a couple or dozens of CSMS projects already in the last years. And as Marc already mentioned, we created a lot of templates for our customers to close those gaps, to create processes around these templates, and to enable the customers to document all the tasks and activities they perform in the CSMS. And our goal was to maintain this knowledge within our organization, to make it available to our colleagues and also to our customers. And that's how we came to the process I'm showing to you now. So when the project starts, the gaps are usually identified by the customer himself or with our help of the fit gap analysis. And the next step usually is to fill the largest gaps as soon as possible. And here, usually our prepared templates come into play. They fulfill all the requirements from the relevant standards, for example, from the ISO SAE 21434. And they can get into place to close these gaps immediately, to have a process defined on which all the next steps can be taken. And with the defined processes, usually an alignment with the already existing process landscape within the organization is necessary. And that's usually tackled within the organization with a lot of stakeholders. A lot of alignment has to take place, and this influences usually also the templates. They have to be altered, they have to be adapted, maybe they have to be replaced, but usually because everything is building on the work products of the ISO SAE 21434, it's still comparable. And usually our templates can help to manage these complexities also during the alignment phase. And as a last step, when everything is already established within the process landscape, usually there's still room for improvement to increase efficiency and to scale processes up, like for example the TARA process. If a lot of TARAs are needed, then better methodology is sometimes something that can help to perform more TARAs in a lesser time. And here also our experts come into play. They bring good practices and the knowledge from former CSMS projects, and they help to increase the efficiency and to improve the documentations for the CSMS. And in the end, as this is built on our work products, usually on our templates, we are improving the templates. And now we don't want to invent the wheel every time again, but reuse these good practices, these good ideas. But on the other hand, of course, we don't reuse the documents that we created for customers. So we invented a method that helps us to collect all these good practices without customer content. And there's a lessons learned phase after the CSMS implementation, where we identify all the good practices, sanitize them from customer content, and integrate them back into the template repository. And this helps us to find all the good answers that we have found or that we identified in the projects within our teams. And as you can see, this process is creating a circle, and it is giving another advantage, because if we have several CSMS projects running at the same time, and one project is working on a certain topic, and they are approving the processes and the document there, they can already run this lessons learned process and bring all these good practices back into the template repository and make these things available to the other projects that are also running at the same time, and speed up all these projects, making the good practices available immediately, more or less, to them. Okay. Now I'm presenting the CSMS templates in some detail that we created, but I will stay still on an abstract level, because currently we have more than 50 documents in the template repository, mostly tackling the ISO SAE 21434, but also some other standards are already tackled with our templates. And it's not only that we improve our templates, but we also extend the template repository into new topics with every project. Yes, for simplified, for simplification, let's put it like this. We are talking here about 6 abstract work products that will follow us a little bit through a presentation. So first we have something like a CSF cybersecurity project templates for the concept phase, CSMS policy for the governance of the organization, TARA template and method description for the risk management, and for example, cybersecurity vulnerability incidents response for the operations and production phase. For the concept and development, as an example, we have the secure coding guideline, and for the alignment with the ecosystem, the cybersecurity interface agreement. And I will put a spotlight on 2 of these work products now. The first one will be the cybersecurity project templates. And this is related to clause 6 of the ISO SAE 21434. And the planning of cybersecurity activities throughout the project or running project The tailoring and the assignment of responsibilities are usually what is in the work product cybersecurity plan. And then as confirmance of this plan, usually there's a cybersecurity case created. And to confirm the achieved level of cybersecurity, usually there's also an assessment later. And as a last step, there's an acceptance for post-development. And now, for all these work products, we have created templates. You can see on the right side. So usually there's more than one template for each work product. That's because several stakeholders and activities are needed to fulfill the work product. And on the left-hand side, you can see our proof controls, which are related directly to the work products of the ISO 21434, as Marc mentioned. And this helps us to connect all our templates also to our maturity framework. That means that we have all the good practices which we identified in the templates also available in the maturity framework, and vice versa. What is identified as a more mature state of cybersecurity management systems can be reflected in our templates and help our customers to reach these highest levels of maturity. Okay, how and what do the templates look like? Usually we have Excel templates or Word templates. This makes them available for the customer directly, and the customer is enabled to make changes to build on these templates and to work with them directly. For example, for the cybersecurity plan, in the case, we have Excel sheets which are defining the activities in the plan and the responsibilities, etc. And in the case, all these activities are checked if they are fulfilled. So our templates are connected, have connections between them, but usually they are also standalone templates which can replace or can be used at the customer's document landscape directly. But as we want to fulfill all the requirements of the ISO SE 21434 with our template repository, there are usually interconnections, but they are not strong. And also within the scope of Clause 6, we have an assessment methodology, which is described in the methodology document, and Excel templates to perform the assessment and also to create a report on this. So as a short example, we now come from the templates into the next step. When the templates are identified to help building the CSMS, it's usually needed to get an alignment of all stakeholders, how these templates can be used. And this is also for this example of the cybersecurity project processes here. The templates that I just mentioned are the basis for these processes, but the alignment between all the relevant stakeholders has to be done here. So for these processes, usually the management takes a big part because, yeah, the project management, the general project management has to be integrated. And of course, the project teams that are directly working with the processes are also involved. But on the other hand, for this clause, often the quality department comes into play, and some group of cybersecurity assessors, sometimes part of the quality department, sometimes external assessors, sometimes a special team within the organization, and all these stakeholders need to align. And this means that the templates will be adapted or need adaptation to fulfill all the requirements of these teams. Okay, and the second spotlight we have on the TARA template and the method description, because usually the TARA is one of the main tools used in the CSMS, as it's a risk-based management system. Identifying the risk is a crucial step. Yeah, the TARA methodology consists of several work products. The ISO SE 21434. These are the work products 15.1 to 15.8, and of course these can be combined in one methodology. That's what we have done in our template. So we have one TARA template and one method description here. And again, on the left side, we have the connection to our proof maturity framework. Our TARA template is an Excel sheet as well, which allows to identify risks and to rate them. And the methodology gives hints and insights how to do this, and a detailed description how to use the template. And also here, this is only the first step to get the methodology into place, but alignment with all the stakeholders has to be taken in consideration as well. So we have here a strong connection to the cybersecurity experts that will perform the TARA. This can be internal cybersecurity manager or architect, or an external expert performing the TARA. But usually there's also a process owner for the TARA within the organization. And these two, the TARA process owner and the cybersecurity experts, directly have to decide what methodology has to be used, what tools should be used. So we introduced, or I introduced the Excel sheet here, but it is perfectly possible to use more elaborate tools. Also for this methodology, for example, we have the CyberRisk tool, TARA tool, in our portfolio, and this can replace the Excel sheet in the processes later. You could start with the Excel sheet first, and then replace it to scale up with a better tool. And on the other hand, other teams are also involved into these processes. For example, here's the monitoring team and the project teams, and the alignment with these teams also has to take place, which means that results have to be presented to the monitoring team, for example. But this is just an abstraction. Usually there are more than these teams involved, and which makes it a bit complex to get an alignment here. And that's also something that we identified as a big advantage of the templates, because if you can hand in an example for the process or a draft for the process based on the templates, it's usually much easier to get all the alignment between all these stakeholders. Okay, as the next step, I will present an approach for the CSMS implementation using the templates. And we will come back to these 6 abstract work products that we presented in the beginning. And based on these 6 example work products, we just assume that we have an organization which has no CSMS policy in place and no processes for vulnerability and incident response. On the other hand, this organization, let's say, has possibilities to perform TARAs on demand, which means if a customer requests a TARA following a certain methodology, the organization is able to perform these TARAs or has external help to do so. And also the interface agreement is created with customers or with suppliers if they are requested by the customer. And the organization has a general planning of projects usually, and also coding guidelines are usually in place, but often these don't tackle cybersecurity immediately. And let's assume we have the situation here as well. And so as a first step, we can use the templates to bring all these processes that are in place on a level that is compliant to the relevant standards. Here for the CSMS to the ISO SAE 21434. So for the policy, we can use the templates to create a policy draft, which is compliant, and also for the incident response and vulnerability response, it is possible to find processes that are compliant to the standards. Maybe as the first step, these are not implemented directly into the organization, or let's say there's no team dedicated to perform this, but you have the processes in place and you have defined some responsibilities, let's say first in the project teams. And on the other hand, the templates can improve all the other four work products here. The interface agreement, the TARA, will be brought to a level within the organization that they can be performed independently from requests. That means there's a methodology developed within the organization. Everyone knows how to perform TARAs, and everyone knows how, or every project team has the capabilities to perform a TARA and is able to set up an interface agreement. And also the project templates are improved to include cybersecurity aspects with our templates, and the secure coding guidelines are also extended with cybersecurity aspects. And with the help of our templates, it is possible to reach this state very quickly and to have a compliant CSMS based on the standards. But usually the improvement does not stop here. I already mentioned the example with the TARAs. It is often identified that there's a big need for TARAs in every project relevant for cybersecurity, and the capabilities for performing TARAs are not established in the same amount, and suddenly it is needed to scale up the TARA process to cover all these requests. And then tools can be introduced, and the methodology can be aligned based on the templates that are in place, or on the processes that are in place that already includes the good practices of our templates. And then it is easy to find a methodology that scales up quickly. And also for the interface agreements and the project template, it's usually in more efficient methodology can be implemented as a second step. And for the cybersecurity policy and the vulnerability incident response, with the based on the good practices of the templates, the maturity can be also increased. So based on this, continuous improvement is possible on the very first step based on the templates, and this allows to increase efficiency and the overall maturity of the cybersecurity management system based on our proof model in a current way. And with the 8-step plan that was presented by Marc in the beginning, we can help to perform a lot of these steps with the templates immediately. Okay. This was my presentation of the templates. Just as a hint, we have several other webinars and linked here in the slides, which also tackle proof and the maturity framework. So if you want to get more information, I can recommend to you the webinars linked here or our website. Thank you also from our side. Yeah. Goodbye.